Welcome back to People and Purpose podcast by GMG. With me today is Imad El Ghazal, our Senior Vice President, Geographies and Marketplace. Today, we're going to be tackling loads of topics regarding market insights, the sports industry, trends, and what have you. Good morning, Imad.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
First and foremost, I think, especially with the personality of Imad Al Ghazal, we would want to start the day with a few questions about your own personal experience in the sports industry.
I'm ready.
Since the day I've met you, I've seen the backpack and the same sporty look. So, can you tell us how you landed in this industry to start with, and how has it worked alongside your personality?
Since 27 years, I'm in the sporting goods industry. Since my childhood, I love sports, passionate about sports. As a performer, I was a basketball player, amateur basketball player, not to look at me. Uh, okay. And as a fan for sports. So I really was so lucky that in 1996, I started my career in the sporting goods industry. I love this industry. It's full of passion, it's full of innovation, it's full of competitiveness. So it's a good adrenaline booster for me. In sports, the difference between winning and losing is seconds or milliseconds. So that's what I love about the industry. So I'm so lucky to be part of it.
And do you feel that the fact that you are passionate about the industry has supported you excelling from a business point of view?
Absolutely. I mean, to be part of this industry, you have to understand sports.
Mm.
You have to understand what's going on around you. You have to understand the game. We deal with product, we deal with storytelling around the product. This is an industry full of storytelling. We deal with heroes, we deal with big events. So, definitely, loving the sports will really help you excel in the sporting goods industry.
Ahmad, from every industry, no matter how passionate you are about it, comes with challenges. Sometimes the challenges could be industry challenges, or it could be an organizational challenge. From your own experience in those 27 years, what do you believe has been your largest challenge, and how do you feel it has impacted, if at all, your career and your personality today?
The biggest challenge you have to, first, as a background, I know this industry from two lens, from the principal lens and from the distributor lens,
Mm.
because I started my career with principals, and then since the past 6 years, I moved to the distributor side with GMG. So I know exactly the two lens of the business. And to be very honest with you, the weightlifting is on the other side, is on the distributor side. Okay,
100%.
it's in the distributor side. So the room of making mistakes is very, very small versus the principal side. Coming to the challenges, the biggest challenge you have in this industry is the agility. Because today the consumer uh, really is not loyal to a brand, it's more loyal into a trend. So, really, we have to be consumer obsessed in servicing them online and offline and giving a very personalized experience to maintain this consumer. So the competition is very strong. So we try to be consumer obsessed rather than competitor obsessed in order to give the best consumer experience. So the biggest challenge I have in my career, I can give you a real one. It was COVID.
Oh, wow.
COVID was really a big challenge. I was part of the crisis management team. So some of the tough decisions that you are recommend to take, it even impact you personally, not
Oh, yeah.
only impact the bigger group. However, it's a big challenge, but it opened a big opportunity for us. It made us so quick in evolving into the online landscape, into a digital transformation that was in a record time once the lockdown and COVID hit us. And we learned a big lesson not to take lots of things we took in life for granted.
Granted.
Okay. And the pain, instead of having a individual pain, we decided as GMG to have a group pain, a one family pain, and we went stronger out of COVID, if you remember.
100%. No, a lot happened for GMG after COVID,
Oh, yeah.
honestly.
Big changes. The main big changes happen in GMG during and after COVID.
The reshaping, at least in my 11 years in the organization, probably happened one 11 years ago, and the second one was after COVID. And I would say from a size perspective, the post-COVID one was much, it reshaped the group, right?
This tells you that behind every crisis there is opportunity, and I believe GMG after COVID and during COVID they really turned the crisis into opportunity, and they continue in this path.
100%. You mentioned emotions in the life of sports, and that's a fact. I mean, just by covering something like the football category, I remembered in my marketing days, football was an attraction into a store, but not necessarily the commercial support for for any sports business. Um, with that said, I assume the trends, like you said, now consumer follows trends rather than is loyal to a brand. As a sport industry that covers so many different categories, so many different sports, how do you feel that the trends are actually shaping the industry from a business perspective?
The main thing that we see is the intersection between the digital business and the brick and mortar. Okay, today there are three characteristics we see in our consumer. First, they are very tech savvy, so they really start their journey in their mobile, in their computers, you call it whatever you want. So, and then basically, whenever they go to a brick and mortar store, it's more about having a personalized experience. They want to enter the store and they want to continue with this positive experience they have online into offline and have a very personalized experience into our stores. This is one. The second thing, we see a lot of improvement and development and increase of awareness of the wellness and health in our consumer. And the third thing, we see lots of consumer, especially the young consumer, they are really looking for sustainability. They care a lot about sustainability. They care a lot about eco-friendly product, and they care a lot about the organization, how sustainable they are.
Do you believe this trend has picked also in our regions? I mean, now we're operating across, Middle East, Africa, and Asia. And do you believe those markets, like Europe or probably North America, have picked up to the same momentum?
I don't believe we are called emerging market, and we are called emerging market for
For a
one
reason.
reason, right? For a reason, because there's a great opportunity, and that's why you see all the multi-branded, all the huge multinational company investing into our region. So that's why we are emerging market. So basically, we don't know how big is big. So still, we have a huge opportunity, but not yet. However, we are there. We're getting there. Our region has a big bank of young consumer, and this young consumer are the future, and this is their trends, and we have to be ready for them for the long term.
We have to accept them to start with,
Absolutely.
adjusting and accepting is one major, let's say, movement that the market needs to make. You mentioned heroes and athletes and players and trends. You basically covered digital and retail. But if I take that emotion of the sports and how sports and players evolve, do those have an impact also on the sports industry from a business perspective?
If you see the story of the big brands, let's take Nike as an example.
Mm,
The big turnaround for Nike was Jordan.
yes.
Okay. And it was not only a turnaround because they sponsored a hero. The sporting goods industry at that time was very team oriented. All the sponsorships and the money was paid to teams. And Nike came with individual sponsorship, and it was record at that time, right? Not only they banked on Jordan, also they gave him a shoe that was banned by the NBA. So it was a completely out of the box thinking. So they disrupted the industry. Now disrupting the industry as well bring a good, whether positive PR or negative PR, it's a PR at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, the consumer were really aspiring to what is this black shoe that everyone is wearing, this black shoe that Jordan is wearing. And Jordan at that time was a rookie.
Right.
And this was a big turnaround. So people get really aspired by a hero called Jordan at that time. So definitely people look up for someone as an idol for them. People look for something that is disrupting. So if there is anything coming to the market that's disrupting, sometimes you see in the trend in general, in the fashion trend, What goes in fashion is not always the most beautiful shoe.
Oh,
It
yeah.
could be, you can see it as an ugly shoe, but it's a trend, right? Of course, there are lots of sports booming, but if you look in the past 10 years, the sports that boomed in our region was paddle. And of course,
Mm.
it create opportunity because because you need really a kit for that game, right? And definitely before we did not have for the consumer what fits for paddle, which is very close in terms of outfit to the tennis, but the shoes is a little bit different. So that's why definitely we are catering for this consumer from a brand perspective.
Now we have ventured into so many different markets, and like you said, post COVID, with very large speed. I'm not talking only about the number of stores. I'm talking about market entry. So whether it's new cities or new countries, and culturally, there is a major difference. I mean, we talk within even the GCC. If you're talking Dubai versus Abu Dhabi, you might find the difference. Let alone Saudi. Let alone if you're saying Hong Kong, Singapore. How do you believe, as an organization leading in sports, we've been able to keep up with those cultural changes, consumer changes, marketplace changes all together within the speed of expansion?
So I believe in the vision on the top of the pyramid of the organization. I believe in GMG there are three principles, okay? And I said it at the beginning. We are more consumer obsessed than competition obsessed. We are long term rather than short term. And at the same time, we keep evolving as part of our values as a organization. So whenever we go into any market, those three principles are overshadowing everything we are doing. So this is one. Coming to your question on this different market and different trends in the market, it all starts with people. Every market we enter, because we want to enter long term. We entered Northern Africa, we started in Egypt. This opened for the group an opportunity of 276 million new consumer in Northern Africa. We enter Southeast Asia. You speak about approximately 700 million consumer for Southeast Asia, and we believe that they deserve what we are giving as service in our region. So we have very good, strong, talented team in every market. As a group strategy, we are consumer centric, and we are consumer centric everywhere. So we have one strategy across all the market. Yet the approach and enabler per market is different. It depends on the culture or the consumer trend, on the really characteristic of this market. Because every time whenever we speak about region, it's not like in Europe. Whenever you go Southeast Asia, you go different country, different currency, different ease of entering the business. Once you speak Africa, you speak about m- 50 different countries with different customs duty, with different currencies. Even GCC, we are different, right? Yet we share the same values in GCC. Once you go to Southeast Asia in general, the consumers share the same values, okay? And North Africa is closer to the GCC countries than the European countries.
But do you feel that because obviously in this market we've been trending in sports for very long, so the reputation of the group and the magnitude of the group has been established for much longer. When you venture into new markets, although you take with you names, now a name like Nike might be globally recognized. A name like Sun and San may stand a stronger weight or value in this market. But when you venture even with large brands, but with an organization that doesn't have the same recognition externally, do you feel it impacts how you enter a market, or how you attract talent, or how you even manage the business? Or do you feel it's a plug and play regardless?
No, there is no plug and play. There is absolutely no plug and play. Our approach to the market is really on how to tackle on the consumer experience the time they step into our stores. Okay, this is the only thing where you can make a difference, and we enter into this market because we believe we can make a difference. In sporting goods industry, you really tackle the life of people, right? and you want to make a change in the life of people, whether you are a serious performer or you really want to be sports inspired, wearing athletic wear in general. So we focus more on giving the right experience to the consumer in the market because the product is there. This is the thing that we can make the difference. We can make a difference in the innovation, we can make a difference in the consumer experience, we can make a difference in the operational excellence, and on the retail standard we can offer to our consumer, because I believe we are one of the best retailers in this region, and we have a unique position because we tap into the direct to consumer across a big portfolio of brands, and at the same time we are the leader in the multi-branded sports environment.
Fair enough. Now, you also mentioned this sports has a lot of emotions, which means motivation is a big factor in anything related to sports.
Yeah.
Now, we happen to be also in the industry from a business perspective. If I was to take motivation and apply it to teams, in any business, motivation is an important factor. Um, if I was to talk about you as a leader in the sports industry, do you believe that motivation plays a different role in the setup we have, seeing that we are also in sports, or is it equal to any industry for which motivation is required?
If you don't develop your people, you will never develop your consumer experience, you will never develop your business, you will never grow. One of the prerequisites of development of the team is motivation. Okay. Now let us break it into two. Okay. The top of the pyramid, the bottom of the pyramid. Okay. At the top of the pyramid, okay, and in sports term, self motivation is more important than someone to motivate you. Yet, once you go to the bottom of the pyramid, middle of the pyramid, not only you need to motivate your team, you need to tell them so. You need to tell them you have done a good job. Don't assume that they know that you appreciate you did a good job. This is very important. Today, if you look at the people who are driving the business, this is the team at the middle management and below. They are the one driving the business. Our job is to facilitate their role. But on the other hand, motivation is key. And the big advice, you motivate and you say you appreciate and you say it so and let them hear it in their own ears. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
And does that make a difference in sports versus non sports? Is this a business standard?
No, this is a business standard, okay? But in sports, if you look at sportsmen, of course, once a young sportsman get the motivation from his coach and everything, definitely he needs it. But once he is at the top league, he is self-motivated. He just want to break more and more records. He doesn't need anyone to really motivate him. But he will never reach here if he never had a leader that really motivated him and tell him, yes, you can do it. Yes, you did a good job.
Is there a particular incident, or maybe more than one, that you believe has had a significant impact on an individual because of the motivational skills that a leader can give?
I would give you an example of a team,
Mm.
not individual.
Fair enough.
Okay. Uh, y- you know, in 2018, we opened a huge Nike door in Dubai Mall. We call it Beacon,
Yep.
right? And this door, you really don't know how big is big, but I can tell you, with the quality of the team we have, and I'm not speaking in store because the team in store are not the only people working for this store. There is a big back of how back office team working and supporting this store. So every year we say that this is the record. Every year we say this is the record, and we recognize the team. And the team, they really believe, no, this is not enough. This year, okay, and actually last year we were the number one Nike store in the world.
Oh, wow.
In the world, okay. Now this year we are still the number one. However, with the proper motivation for the team, they delivered the highest month, the highest hour, the highest week, and the highest uh, day.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
we never had, every year we break the record of this store But this time they broke 4 records,
Wow.
and we gave amazing recognition for the team. And if you go to the team, they tell you, I'm waiting for next year to break those records again. So
Oh, you can give them daily records.
I wish they can have daily records. Okay. However, really, this tells you once you have a team that they are really passionate and that they believe that they can always break records, they love what they are doing, they get the right recognition, they have the right motivation from the leader. This is the outcome. Okay. And once I say leader, I'm not referring to myself, I'm referring to a full team in our organization that really work closely with this team and give them the right recognition. This is a store that works 24/7, by the way.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can
While,
imagine which
while, while
side.
the mall closed, there is a team working behind the scene to prepare for the second day. To reach this level of operational excellence, this is requires relentless efforts from the team and the great leadership skill, especially from a motivational perspective.
Agreed. If you were to give a public advice to any um, individual who is at the start of their career in a corporate environment in the sports industry, what would your advice? What would be the advice that you would give them to persevere and succeed?
Okay, let's define the leadership. Okay, leadership is a journey of humility, learning, and evolvement. In order to grow in any organization, not in the sporting goods industry, first you have to have the passion of learning. One, two, you have to be patient. The opportunity will come. Everyone throughout his career, he will have the opportunity. And at any point of time, you question yourself, I can't do it, and then you challenge yourself that yes, I can, absolutely, you will be on the right path to grow in the organization. Because, I always say it, and I say it as well to my kids, it's always better to take a risk than lose a chance. Okay.
100%.
So definitely the advice is to be passionate of to learn, and at the same time is really to take it easy step by step and listen to your leader. It's not important to only how you see yourself. If you have the right leadership, it's good as well to listen from them on how they see you, because they will always open for you doors on tackling on certain areas where it can make you a better leader.
Imad, I asked you every question I can think of. Is there anything else you would like to add?
There is one thing that I enjoy in GMG is the values of GMG. So as long as all of us live the value of this organization and live the persona of born to win of this organization, we are unstoppable.
Amazing. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
being
Ella.
here with us today, Imad. And for all our audiences listening here today, we'll see you again next time in another episode of People and Purpose podcast by GMG.